What's going on, football fans? DTereman back with another 2026 prospect film review. Sticking with the quarterback position, we travel northeast to the Happy Valley where we discuss Penn State's Drew Allar. Allar entered college as the number 3 recruit in his class, number 1 at the quarterback position. He was the backup to Sean Clifford in 2022, appearing in only 9 games, attempting 60 passes before becoming a full-time starter in 2023. Last season, he completed 66.5% of his passes for 3,327 yards with a 24-8 touchdown to interception ratio. He added 302 yards on the ground with 6 rushing touchdowns. Let's dive into the All-22 and see what the hype is all about with Drew Allar and the Nittany Lions. We'll take it full screen from here. The 2 games that I watched of Drew Allar are Ohio State and Oregon. I'm only going to be able to watch 2 games of these guys, not my normal 3, because Jets training camp starts next week. So there's going to be a ton of content surrounding that. So in order to squeeze in my top 4, top 5 quarterbacks at the top of the class, I'm going to have to just watch 2 games of film, but I'm still going to break down both the Ohio State game and the Oregon game here for Allar. Bit of a mixed bag, but here we'll start with a really good heads-up play, 2x2 condensed formation. You're going to see a switch release scissors concept up top by Tyler Warren and the wide receiver. Allar does a good job of climbing the pocket with a lot of pressure in his face, a near sack evaded, and he's just going to keep his eyes on the check down, allow for the check down to get a lot of yards after catch. So just a heads up play from Allar. We'll play it here through. 2x2. Allar heads up play to start the film against the Buckeyes. Play number 2, not so positive. He's going to have a little bit of pressure coming through the A gap. He's going to sail a lofty pass to the corner route down the bottom of the screen, the number 1 to the bottom of the screen on the 30-yard where it says number 30 there. I think in this situation, if Allar stands and delivers the pass with more zip, you can see from the separation that the wide receiver gains at the top of the route that there's room for him to make a catch and potentially a big play after that. So we'll play it through here. The pocket awareness. First of all, number 6 probably shouldn't be coming free through the A gap. That's one of the first rules of offensive line play is you don't allow A or B gap pressure. So perhaps that double team on number 58 from the center and the right guard should have been passed off so that the center could get back over to number 6. Either way, it doesn't happen. Now he's got a free runner at Allar. You can see the wide receiver's not quite out of his break yet on the sail, so he would have to throw with a ton of anticipation right now or stand and deliver and take a bit of a shot from the linebacker. Instead, he kind of shifts to his left, throws an awkward – see, that's not a good base. Your feet are way too close together. You can tell he's not using his hips and his torque to throw. He's using a lot of just his upper half and relying on his arm strength, which he has good arm strength, but you can see an abbreviated follow-through as well. And then look, the wide receiver has a couple yards of space where if he just put that more on a flat trajectory towards the numbers more, this wide receiver wouldn't have to battle for it right here in a huge contested catch situation and fall incomplete, leading to a 4th down. So not a great play from Allar. I think his mechanics when he's facing pressure showed me that type of situation a lot, so I needed to put it in to the film review. I'm not going to spam a bunch of those types of plays, but that was a bit of a common theme when there was pressure in Allar's face. Not sure if he's dealing with an injury or if he's just not confident enough to stand in there and deliver the pass when needed, but that was kind of my overarching sense with his mechanics was that he throws off a wonky platform when there's any bit of pressure. This one here, I don't want too many people to get confused when I say this, but this is a great play from Drew Allar. Only the types of plays that you would really see the Josh Allens of the NFL world make. Not to say he is Josh Allen, please don't get that confused, but when we play this through here, And you can picture 17 in Buffalo doing this exact same thing. So Allar's going to scramble out to his right. He's going to have the check down coming out to the bottom of the screen. There's a linebacker trailing. Not sure if he's going to play Allar or the man. Allar gives him a little pump fake, hesitates the linebacker, and he runs for a huge explosive gain. So not to say he is Josh Allen, but that's a play where I looked at that on film, especially from the end zone angle, and you're like, okay, you can understand where the Josh Allen influence comes from. And I'm sure if you ask Drew Allar, Josh Allen is a top of the list of players that he watches on film because he, like Josh Allen, is a big quarterback. He's 6'5", 240. So it makes a lot of sense. We'll play it through here. Has to commit to the eligible receiver down the bottom of the screen. So here we are, Allar at the back of his drop, looking to his left, doesn't love what he sees, looks to scramble, and number 6 looks like he's trailing the running back here, but keeping his eyes on Allar. Boom, right there. Turns his eyes to go to Allar with the pump fake, and he can't get it. Too late. Allar gets 15 yards. Great play. Love the use of his legs. Another common theme with the quarterbacks that we're watching for 2026 is they all have enough mobility to get out of the pocket and improvise and escape when needed. Even if some of them are runner type first, I still think that they all, even the quote unquote pocket passers of today's college world, possess enough athleticism to get out of the pocket. It's very rare to have a statue back there at the quarterback level. Play number 4, we have a 2x2. They're going to shift to 3x1, and they're going to run a play action dagger concept. So up at the top of the screen, the number 2, the guy in the slot, he's going to run a streak. And then the number 1 to the top of the screen is going to run a deep dig route, an inside breaking route. Allar does a great job of the shoulder dip, which I believe we saw both with Sellers and Klubnik. So again, you're seeing common themes of good quarterback play from the 3 of these guys. He's going to do a good shoulder dip and rip to the dagger concept. And I put this play in here because they ran this play earlier in the game, the exact same concept, same formation, and it didn't work. Allar had the read open, and he threw a low pass that, yes, it was an inaccurate pass. It could have also been labeled as a drop technically by the receiver because he had to go down low and get it, but he got hands on it. So I wanted to put the successful version of the play into the film review and not the unsuccessful play, but it is good that they ran the same concept again, and Allar was ready to capitalize on it. So our eyes are on the top of the screen just to show the nuance of that shoulder rip. So number 0 comes all the way down to the far right of the offensive line. The pulling guard is able to get there, but not quite. Gets around him. Allar, just that little dip right there. Boom. Allows for all this space in the pocket. Keeps his eyes downfield again, not looking at the rush. Very wonky off-platform throw. Gets there to the receiver. All good, positive play for Drew Allar. So you're seeing a bit of a mixed bag here. Some wonky mechanics, some really good improvised play, especially with his legs. Kind of what he is right now. And maybe if he came out in 2025, he could have been as high as quarterback 2 or quarterback 3 in the draft class. So who knows what would have happened if he came out. I think going back to school was probably the best solution for him because of how inconsistent the flashes are. The next one we have here is a forced interception on a basic route. They're going to shift to a 2x2 situation. They run this wonky offense where Drew Allar's all the way over here, and then they shift him back into the backfield. Tyler Warren is currently lined up behind center and shotgun right now. So they're going to shift over to a 2x2 wing right with both tight ends lined up attached to the formation. And he's going to throw a backside dig down the bottom of the screen to the tight end. And it seemed like he was just trying to be too anticipatory with his throw, and it turned into an interception because the DB turned around before the receiver did on the play. So here they go. They shift to a wing formation, 2 tight ends attached to the line of scrimmage, same side. Looking up to the top of the screen, comes back, forces the basic throw before 16 can turn around. Big interception. Before we get to the end zone angle, I'll just show you at the top from the sideline angle what's going on. So Allar is looking to the top of the screen. Looks like a must outside release go from the number 1 and then a quick out from the number 2. He doesn't like it. Tyler Warren streaking in like a little bit of a seam over route in the middle. Doesn't like that either. And then you see the congestion here on the throw. He's looking at Tyler Warren making his way over to number 16 now. His eyes get on him. He's locked. He's already anticipating a throw here. He's disconnecting, looking to load up and throw. Number 8 has his eyes to the quarterback because they're in a zone coverage, and 16 hasn't gotten out of his break yet, so he's not even looking for the ball. Still not looking for the ball. Now he finally turns around, and the ball's already more than halfway there. 8's able to make a play on it. I know it's a little bit hard to track the ball there, but 8 has already caught the ball because the pass was a little bit behind 16 and a little bit of a rushed throw. So I love the fact that Allar was getting through his third read on the progression. Just felt a little forced, like he was kind of zipping through his progression, 1, 2, 3, throw, and then instead of 1, 2, 3, throw. And then you'll see it from the back angle. You'll see 16. He's just not out of his break yet when Allar looks to throw. So an unfortunate, maybe an avoidable interception, we'll even call that. So look, he's ready to rip it. The ball's already left his hands. 16's not out of his break yet. 8's playing through the receiver with his eyes on Allar the whole way. Behind the receiver, right into the defender's hands. So a bit of misfortune, of course, but also I think he forced it by zipping through his reads a little bit too quickly there. The next clip I have is a touchdown pass from Drew Allar to the number 1 receiver to the bottom of the screen. They are running a 2x2, but they shift to a 3x1, and they run a flood concept. So basically the number 1 is running a streak. The new number 2 is running a bit of a medium out route, and then there's a flat route accompanying it on the check down. So they're in 2x2. They shift to a 3x1 with Tyler Warren. They're going to motion this offensive lineman down. Penn State loved to do this wonky stuff with their offense where they just had linemen lined up wide and motioning down. They run a 3x1 concept. Like I said, flood. You're going to have the check down, the quick out, and the streak. This number 5 safety, you can't see his number 5. He's pinched way too far down here playing Tyler Warren, and number 5's able to slip over top of him. Allar throws it, easy touchdown. We'll play it all the way through. There's the shift, motion the offensive line. Good heads-up play by number 5, throwing up the mailbox, and then Drew Allar finding the open receiver and delivering. Again, busted coverage by number 5, the safety there, but also a heads-up play by Allar to recognize and pull the trigger and throw the ball right where it needed to be. So good touchdown there in a game where Penn State was clawing to come back against Oregon after getting down big. Here's the last touchdown from the Oregon game, and I'm not going to put the final play of Drew Allar's Oregon game on here. It was a go ball that ended up as an interception in a 2-minute situation where they were down by 1 score, trying to come back. I'm not going to fully blame it on Allar, so I didn't put it into the film review. So this is going to be the final play of the Oregon game, and it's a positive, even though it ended on a sour negative note for Penn State. Here they're in the high red zone at the 15-yard line. They're in a 3x1. They're going to motion to a 2x2 with a stack left, which is basically just 2 guys lined up with a very small split next to each other on the same side. We'll play it through. 3x1, shift to 2x2. Allar does a good job avoiding the sack here. getting his jersey ripped, makes a incredible off-platform throw to number 6 for the touchdown. The back angle is honestly incredible. 72 gets beat wide. The guy comes around and he's pulling on Allar's undershirt here, and he's able to deliver right in between two defenders. Steps up. Just incredible. If Penn State went on to win this game, that play would be shown over and over and over again in the highlights. 72 gets beat. Allar's just getting to the back of his drop, and he's got to already escape. Gets out. Defender's just, oh my goodness, pulling all the way on his shirt. Look at that platform he's throwing off of. And then you got your single high safety here, and then the trailing corner behind him here. Just incredible accuracy on this pass from that platform, that situation. It's a do or die situation, quite frankly, on this play for Penn State because they're just trailing and they needed to come back by any means necessary. So Drew Allar is able to stick it in there, score a big touchdown. Obviously, they don't end up winning the entire game, but as you can see, a mixed bag from Drew Allar on the tape. I tried to show good defenses, so I put the Ohio State and Oregon games, and I cut up those plays specifically. Those are some of the better defenses in the nation. And if you're going to, go up to the NFL level, you're going to be playing the best of the best. So I wanted to show that I wasn't going to necessarily put his games against SMU or Boise State or UCLA or Illinois, not to say those teams are bad, but I wanted to show him against some of the better competition that he went against in 2024. Again, mechanics a little wonky, throws off bad platforms when he's facing pressure. But then when he's able to get out of the pocket and he's able to improvise a little bit, there's some really special stuff that he can do with his legs. Again, not saying he is Josh Allen, but that influence of what Josh Allen does is seeping into the new generation of college kids, that Patrick Mahomes that throw off wonky platforms and just trust your arm, and you don't have to have a good base, but it'll work. But then there's times where it doesn't work for Allar, and he really needs to find the consistency in those mechanics. And then who knows, maybe he can become a top 5, top 10 pick in the 2026 draft. For now, I have him a little bit lower, probably a mid to late first round pick, perhaps even an early second round pick. We saw what happened last year with the quarterbacks, and nobody expected many of them to go where they went. So it's kind of a dealer's choice, the flavor of the week with any of these NFL teams. Somebody could be picking high that likes his traits. The teams at the top of the board might not like his traits, and he can slip a little bit. So all in all, I think it's a mixed bag for Drew Allar. I'm excited to see what he does in 2025, especially without a dominant weapon like Tyler Warren in his offense. He has 2 really good running backs. So I'm excited to see what happens. Let me know in the comments what you think about Drew Allar. I will post a link for LaNorris, Sellers, and Cade Klubnik's film reviews down below. 3 quarterbacks in the books, working on Garrett Nussmeier of LSU next. So hoping to get at least 5 quarterbacks done in the series. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Hit the like button on your way out. Smash the subscribe button. We're less than 20 away from 500, which is a huge milestone already. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm DTereman, and I'll catch you next time.